growing elitism in the Hindu community where certain jobs have been given up. He created further an excellent form, Kshatriyahood. Those Kshatriyas among the gods. So there is Varna system among Devas. The Brahmana is the source of the Kshatriya. Therefore, although the king attains supremacy in the sacrifice, at the end of it he resorts to the Brahmana, his source. He further created Vaishyas, which are called Ganasa, because they are in groups. The species of gods were designated in groups. Who are the Vaishyas? He further created the Shudra Varna, which is called Pushan. What is the meaning of Pushan? This earth is Pushan, for it nourishes all that exists. It is not a cuss word, it's not a swear word, it's not a bad word, it is not a casteist insult. This was always a very proud word. Plus, there is the other critical component, that there is a growing elitism in the Hindu community where certain jobs have been given up. And it's not even as if they're succeeding at better jobs. You've given up on such a major area. Could someone please give me the copy of my second book? And there's a reason why I included this. This was after a lot of research, talking to a lot of scholars. I put out this shloka. I'm very clear about what shloka the first book began with, the second book and ended with, and so is the case with the second book. Read the shloka which is on the opening page just before the contents page, and this is from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Wait for me to finish it, and it will tie into the answer that I gave before. In the beginning, before creation, this whole cosmos was all indeed Brahman, the one and only. Being the only one, he could not scaffold the cosmos, which is he could not hold it together. He created further an excellent form, Kshatriyahood. Those Kshatriyas among the gods. So there is Varna system among Devas. Indra, Varuna, Soma, Rudra, Parjanya, Yama, Mrityu and Ishana. These are the Kshatriyas. Therefore, there is none higher than Kshatriyahood. Hence, the Brahmana upholds the Kshatriya from a lower position in the Rajasuya sacrifice. He imparts that glory to the Kshatriya. The Brahmana is the source of the Kshatriya. Therefore, although the king attains supremacy in the sacrifice, at the end of it he resorts to the Brahmana, his source. He who destroys the Brahmana strikes at his own source. This is not Manusmriti. This is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. I could have quoted the Manusmriti, but people think that Manusmriti is an aberration from the Vedas. It is not. So deal with it. He becomes more wicked as one is by destroying the enlightened. Now from there, so the creation of the Kshatriya and the Brahmana is not sufficient. So then what happens? Yet Brahman could not scaffold the cosmos after having created the first two Varnas. He further created Vaishyas, which are called Ganasa, because they are in groups. The species of gods were designated in groups. Who are the Vaishyas? The 8 Vasus, the 11 Rudras, 12 Adityas, 13 Vishvedevas, and 49 Maruts. And yet Brahman could not scaffold. Now wait for the punchline here. He further created the Shudra Varna, which is called Pushan. What is the meaning of Pushan? This earth is Pushan, for it nourishes all that exists. That is the value of the Shudra community, because it is the foundation of every society. It is not a cuss word, it's not a swear word, it's not a bad word, it is not a casteist insult. This was always a very proud word. Yet Brahman could not scaffold the cosmos, as he was doubtful about controlling the ferocious Kshatra. He further created Dharma. This Dharma is the controller of Kshatra, hence there is nothing greater than Dharma. So that there is an honor code everywhere. Otherwise the tyrant wielding the sword has no rules to fetter him with. Plumbers, mechanics, never hurl that jibe called Shortswala at anybody again. Don't do it. Please never do it. It reflects baseless elitism and stupidity on your part. Never do this again. Electrician, plumber, driver, mechanic, your house help. These are the people who let you go and sit in an air-conditioned office. Let them all go on a strike for one day. That's the end of your life cycle. Your productivity is gone for a toss. Therefore, you have to reframe the question. You have miserably failed at killing caste. Go for the lower hanging fruit, kill casteism. There is a difference. Which is, try and address this by creating a larger identity that you can relate to. That identity is always the bottom line for survival, Hindu and Hindutva. Hindutva is the means, Hindu consciousness is the goal. Try this, and that's exactly why every person who's been speaking of Hindutva has not done this just because it's meant to be a response to other predatory ideologies, but it's also meant for you to come together as a community, rising above your local identities, whether it's linguistic, regional, or caste-based identity, or the subsect identity.